Greetings, Instagram friends and family. Hey, this is Judge Parker for your Tuesdays at 2 with Judge. I know I'm a little behind today. It's been a pretty busy day making out schedules for the rest of the year. I've been doing a lot of scheduling and a lot of changes with a lot of different things to make sure that we can have and provide you the necessary training and education that's needed for real estate here in Georgia, for those of my friends who are agents out there who need it. Also, I wanted to share with you too is that I am going to be posting a new schedule. I want you to check out my website, www.tapacademyatl.com, to see the new schedule that's going to be available. It should be up and running on tomorrow for you to see the new items that we're going to be doing. But also those of you that are interested in getting a real estate license, by all means, please check it out or share it with your friends in order for them to be able to go and register for classes. You know, COVID has kind of put us in a different position, which has really been beneficial in a lot of ways. One is that now I can have multiple classes running simultaneously via virtually. Via Zoom. We've been using Zoom very heavily in order to make sure that those things are taking place. But it's really working out very well. Right now we have a class that starts actually tonight. So if you still have time to get into an evening class, and it's from 6 to 9, it's only going to be 3 hours in the evening. We find that works much better. And also it's one Saturday. It's Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 9 and Saturdays from 10 to 1. So it's got a good balance in it with it. Michelle Fullanier is going to be teaching that class. Michelle's an experienced agent and instructor who's been in the business over 25 years, so she understands the business very well. Also on my training schedule, we're going to have another broker class that's going to start in September. Folks, I've been getting a ton of calls about a broker course. A ton of calls about a broker. I just finished one, and everybody's saying, hey, we need another broker class. Okay, well, great. September is when this next broker class will kick off, and it will be one that you can register for. So those of you that are agents out there in Georgia who want to get their Georgia broker's license, by all means, be prepared to take this class. It's going to be still very interactive, even though we're doing it via Zoom and virtually. Still very interactive. We put you in a lot of different groups and let you talk about different things. But what we teach in this broker class more than anything is how to run a business. You need to understand how to get your business going. What are some of the things that you need to be fully aware of to make sure that your business is productive and profitable? So check us out on the web. Continue to watch our Instagram page as well. You'll see a lot of great things that's going to be start posting there. Also, if you know anybody that's out there who's great with Instagram, with marketing and advertisement, inbox me, because I do need to hire someone to do some of those things for me as well. And we're in a position to do that right now. So we can pick them up today, tomorrow, the next day. But I definitely need to have someone in order to do that. I need someone for Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, all the social media venues that we're part of, for someone to kind of keep tabs on that for me to make sure that it matriculates the way that it needs to with advertisement and stuff of that nature. So if you got someone that you know of that's good at that wants to earn some money with doing it, inbox me and we can get them interviewed and get them squared away if there's a good fit for us and for them to work together. Now, wanted to talk today about a couple of things, folks. We're coming up on a very serious election here on November 3rd in 2 months. It's like today, I think, is 91 days before the election. Folks, if you have not registered to vote, go do it. Come hell or high water, you need to do it. Period. I know there's a lot of people out there who talk about, oh, well, voting doesn't matter. It does matter. Ask Keisha Lance Bottoms, who was the mayor of Atlanta, who is the mayor of Atlanta, and she'll tell you how the narrow margin she won by. She won, but she won probably about 800 votes, if it was that many. So voting is important. Your vote does count. So please do not sit back and expect others to do what you can do in order to change what it is that you don't like. So that's a problem too. Sometimes we sit back and wait for someone else to do it, to make the change for us, but instead of us getting busy ourselves and causing the change to happen for us. We don't do that sometimes, but we need to do that. Folks, go vote. Go get registered. Go vote. You need to make sure that your vote counts. We need to ensure that we have people in places that's going to continue to allow us to have the freedoms, the simple freedoms that we have in order to live, but also increase some of the things that we need in order to live even more comfortably. Right now, if you haven't paid attention, there's a big debate between the Senate and the House. Well, the Democrats want to continue the $600 payment and adjust it according to the employment rate. When the employment rate goes down, then they want to start bringing down the $600 a month payment, which I think makes sense. But the Republicans are saying, no, we want to change it to $200 now because it's an incentive for people to stay home and not want to work. Well, think about it from this perspective. If jobs haven't called you back to work, then it's not that I don't want to work, it's that the job is not providing me an opportunity to work. Just two different things. And I think that they see it in a type of lens that's very convoluted from a standpoint of understanding, from seeing it in a lens of an individual who wants to do work but can't get work because we're still in a pandemic. So please, people, go vote. Voting is something that you need to do. It is a right for you to vote. It's a privilege for you to vote, and it is an obligation for you to go and vote. So go and vote and make your vote count. I don't care who you vote for. I just want you to vote. Period. Make your vote count. Vote for the candidate that you are going to support and that you think and you align yourself with their values and their views. But go freaking vote. You need to go vote. It is ultra important that you vote. Now, that's the first thing. Now, the second thing is that there's a lot of things. I've been getting a lot of emails and responses in reference to the PPP money. Now, there's a PPP forgiveness program that was initiated. The expectation is that Congress is going to give another one of those. If they do it, don't know. However, that's the talk. But for those of you who did get it in the beginning, there's a forgiveness piece that you're going to have to go and do, folks. You're going to have to fill out that paperwork to show that you did it. You spent the money according to what the agreement was with the SBA when you received that money, or the bank who gave the SBA the money to lend to you. So you have to make sure that you fill out the proper paperwork and show that you used that PPP money for exactly what it was, and that was for Paycheck Protection. Now, about 3 weeks ago, they did change it. It was 75% had to go towards your actual payroll. They changed it to 60%. Now, I don't know if they made that retroactive for all the other periods or not, but I do know that they did make an adjustment with that because some of the business owners were needing to use that money to cover some other expenses. In the beginning, you can only use 25% of that to cover other expenses, but then they moved it a little bit, margins about 15%, in order to allow you to do about 40% to cover your business expenses. So 60-40 versus 75-25. But make sure that you get in touch with the bank who gave you that money to ensure that you start the process for the forgiveness and showing that you use the money according to what it was designed to be used for. Now, with that said, it's a lot of people out there that are getting that money and not doing for what it said. You're gonna pay the consequences behind that. I'm just gonna be brutally honest with you. You may do some jail time. Matter of fact, there's been several people in Georgia, Arkansas, Mo, and there was another one in South Georgia, was in Henry County a few days ago. I heard on the radio that this gentleman got like $2.8 million and went out and bought a Maserati and all kinds of other things that they should not have used that money for. They should have been using it for paying their employee expenses, but they didn't do that. However, they're going to suffer the consequences, and that's considered bank fraud and wire fraud, folks. That's a minimum of a 10-year penalty or a 10-year sentence in jail if you're convicted. Bank fraud and wire fraud, you don't want to do that. Those are felonies. So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you use the money for what it was intended for. So if you got the PPP money, then make sure you use it for that. Now, there was another little thing going on with SBA, and it was a grant. We were getting these $10,000 grants. All right, folks, let me say this. If you got a legitimate business and you're getting those grants, you're good to go. You're okay. But if your business is not legitimate and you got that grant from the feds, now, some of y'all thinking that, oh, they ain't going to ask you. It was a grant. They are going to ask you to show proof as to what you used it for. Now, I've heard situations where people are getting the grants and they're going out buying brand new flat screen TVs for their houses. They're redoing their backyards. They're doing all kinds of things. Has nothing to do with a business. Again, you need to make sure that you use it for what it was intended for. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself on the other end of the stick trying to explain why you didn't use it for what it said that you was going to use it for. So be mindful of that too. Because, I don't look good in that type of orange that they want you to wear when they take you to jail. That ain't my color. But be mindful of those things. Also, the last but not least, wanted to share with you guys that if you did not get a chance to see it and understand who this gentleman was and what he meant to the world, not just to the U.S., but what he meant to the world, you really should go back and try to find it on. I'm sure it's out there online somewhere where you can go and watch the service. Congressman John Lewis. I had the great pleasure of meeting Congressman John Lewis probably about 10 or 12 years ago at an event that he and I both were attending. And he was one of the nicest gentlemen you would ever meet. He was just very, very nice, very pleasant, very, very cordial to be around. It was no airs about him whatsoever, given the fact that he had the privilege and the celebrityism that he had. You would have never known it. He was just as humble and just as gentle as anyone you ever want to meet. But they gave him a great service this past week. One thing that I really believe and agree with is what President Barack Obama said in reference to him. He said John Lewis was like the founding fathers of America when they established the Constitution. John Lewis is going to be the founding father of change in this world from the standpoint they're going to go back to what he did in order to make the change the way that it needs to be done. I really believe that. And I really believe when it's time to start making changes and reparations and things of that nature, it's going to go back to what John Lewis fought for, the nonviolent side of it, and to be able to show that he was a man of great dignity from the standpoint of just being respectful to the people and not bowing down to the rules of individuals, but respecting the laws that were created, but at the same time willing to change those laws that did not benefit all people, where it only benefited some. But very, very great gentleman. And also I might add to that Willie Watkins Funeral Home. For those of you know, I am a funeral home owner as well, but Willie did a great job with getting that done. Hats off and kudos to them. Listen, folks, we can applaud other businesses that are in the same business as we are in order to tell them that they did well in what they did. And Willie and his crew did a great, great, great job. I won't call him crew. His staff did a great job. And I can appreciate everything that he meant to it, because Willie's been around a long time. And also, if you didn't know this, South View Cemetery, where Congressman Lewis was buried, was a cemetery that was established after slavery and after the Civil War, because after the Civil War, African Americans did not have a place where they could be buried, and this cemetery was established in the 1800s for African Americans to be buried in those areas after the Civil War. Well, I have another friend of mine who I'm very familiar with. Our children played basketball together in high school. Is Winnie Hemphill, who is actually the owner and operator of that cemetery. It is a very, very, very historical cemetery. If you get a chance to go out there, folks, go out there and just walk around, and you'll see some of the most famous people, African American people, that are buried out there. And it's a very pleasant place to be. I mean, cemeteries, those people don't like, oh, I go to cemetery. Well, it's a garden. It's a beautiful garden is what it is. It's a resting place. It's homes for others. But the point is that it is a very, very, very historical cemetery, and it has a lot of meaning to it. So go check it out and go understand your history, folks. You need to know your history, so that way when you're getting ready to do things, you can always relate back to where we were and determine where we are to help you better assess where we're going to be going. So I hope this has been beneficial to you today. I look forward to our next opportunity, Tuesdays at 2. But again, go on the website. There's a lot of classes that are going to be taking place, both here in Georgia for my Georgia real estate agents, but also I'm going to be doing some other classes on just business preparation as a whole, policies and procedures writings and things of that nature to show you how to get those things prepared properly in order to get your business moving. But again, folks, it's been great talking to you. Excuse me. And I look forward to the next Tuesday at 2. And you have a great rest of your afternoon. Talk to you soon.